Hello everybody. It's nice to have you back here. My name is Francesco Parzon. I am part of the Fab City Foundation. I'm working as EU project manager. And in fact, I welcome everybody here to this fifth roundtable we are hosting, um, almost one of each month. This is an action that is funded by the EU Commission under the Project PENS, which focuses on addressing climate change and environmental issues through citizen engagement. The PENS Climate Roundtable aims to foster collaboration among diverse stakeholders to address the pressing challenges of climate change. In today's roundtable, which is called, of course, Metrics Open Source Innovation for Impact, we are having Michaela. I will soon introduce her. This session promises to be a thought-provoking exploration on how we can use technology data and open source principles to drive meaningful change in our communities and urban ecosystem. In the world data, where data is often seen as a commodity and the digital infrastructures are dominated by a few key players. So this roundtable challenges us all to ask and to have new kind of questions. What can I say about Michaela Tudorake? She's a leading voice in the field of ICT, of development. Michaela brings a unique blend of expertise with over 10 years of experience in the private IT sector and a multidisciplinarity background in public administration and research and innovation. Michaela's work focuses on creating ethical open source solutions for community empowerment. She's part of the Dyn.org, a European non-profit free software foundry with over 2 decades of experience in developing tools and narrative for collective transformation. Her insights today will draw from real-world examples like the Interfacer project, which builds decentralized digital infrastructure for urban ecosystem, and her work on digital product passports and value flow in distributed ecosystems. That said, I know this might sound challenging, but we are super happy and to have Michaela today here with us. So I would leave the floor to her.
Hey, hello. Thank you very much for the introduction, Francesco, and welcome everybody to this session. I was almost afraid you will say everything about what I have to say. And yes, so I see that there's already a question in the chat. Somebody is asking if the recording will be available. And meantime,
Yeah,
while you are replying, I will share the screen. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, it's going to be available on YouTube.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so as said, metrics and open source innovation for impact. I am Miha. Francesco already said a lot of things. Maybe I can add that I'm Romanian. I'm based in Italy. I was a technical mentor in the Ledger project, Horizon 2020 Venture Builder program, guiding 18 teams through the software development of minimum viable products using open source, human-centric principles and decentralized technologies addressing health, economy, mobility, and public services sectors. And part of the technical coordination team of the Interfacer project that's included in this case study of today's presentation. This happened as a part of the Dyn.org Foundation, the European software foundry with more than 20 years of experience that tackled and still tackles applied cryptography, algorithmic sovereignty, the digital democracy, and a lot of other important tasks. And everything that we build is publicly available online. During these years, we kind of get to 200 more than 200 repositories that are available for studying, testing, and adopting whatever we are working on. Last year, we were asked to put together 1 week workshop that for the Master in Design for Distributed Innovation that we worked on together with my colleagues Adam Byrne and Stefano Bocconi. And this was, again, a 1 week workshop. And this is how we ended up with this presentation today, trying to extract the key insights from that workshop. And we will start a little bit with what is the digital realm and what is data. So as we know, data is everywhere, collected as facts, numbers, words, and measurements and observations. And according to datareportal.com, Europeans spend on average about 6 hours and 40 minutes online each day. And data capture is a silent process that occurs through our smartphones, public services, transportation systems, and healthcare services. The collected data is processed and transformed into metrics used to quantify and assess performance, progress, or quality in specific areas. And this helps turning complex realities into simplified trackable numbers. But they are defined by whoever sets the goals, like governments, corporations, researchers, standardization bodies, and they are often based on what they value, prioritize, or want to control. This means that metrics are not neutral. They reflect specific interests and worldviews. And in other words, the way we measure the world defines how we see it, and also what we choose to value, to ignore, or to invest in. And taking into account that 90% of the information we consume is defined by algorithms that mainly are based on engagement tactics and profit-driven metrics, it kind of becomes imperative to demystify the data collection and decision-making processes, and so regain the sovereignty of our digital traces, so that we can be active and well-informed actors in shaping the public and private lives, instead of passive consumers and unpaid content providers that donate for eternity details about our own personal lives. So based on this maybe short introduction, I would like to ask you, maybe you can use the chat for this, what, in your opinion, we do not see in the digital realm in this moment of time? And we can take a couple of minutes for this before moving to the examples and the list that I gathered for you, which is of course not complete. So it would be very interesting to understand and to see what are your opinions about this, and maybe discover some obscure angles that I didn't touch upon. I will try to check the chat on YouTube channel. Okay, so up until now, everybody is silent. In any case, if you don't have ideas, or you are too shy to use the chat, I think we will also have the chance to continue the conversation through opening questions at the end of this session. Is it correct, Francesco? We will have opening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Okay. So yes, let's close this for now and move on. please. Move on, please. Okay, so again, what I described here is a part of the problem, and I picked up the data gap in the woman's health. Like, for example, the heart attack symptoms differ from in women differ from men, but are often misdiagnosed because the standard data is male-based, as it is the emergency procedures and the clinical trials. This is based on Criado Perez's Invisible Woman book, and it's just an example. The other things that I picked up is the real cost of products. So we are still facing more modern slavery and child labor. For example, in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, contribute to the approximately 60% of the world's cocoa, with 45% of children in these regions involved in the cocoa farming instead of going to school. And so this is more or less like 1.6 million children that are working instead of going to school. For example, another example can be the modern slavery in the textile sector, where there's a huge critical issues in countries like Bangladesh. And another example is the long-term cost of biodiversity loss. For example, Romania's ancient forests, which are some of the oldest and most biodiverse in Europe, have been subject to extensive illegal logging despite their protected status. And this is happening through multiple decades. And this in this sector, let's say, technology is playing a harmful role, in the sense that now they have more professional tools, and so they can accelerate the illegal work that they are doing. Another problem that we have, another thing that we are not seeing, is who has access to our digital traces, so to our data, which based on the GDPR regulation that we have in Europe, is shared with advertiser, provided to third parties for service improvement, used to train artificial intelligence models without disclosing the specifics. And maybe more hands-on example is, and the personal example is, that a couple of weeks ago I visited a town. I parked the car, and in order for me to pay the ticket, the parking ticket, I was forced to install an application, and so disclose my email, my personal email, my location, and so a lot of other data. Without that installation, I would have been able to pay the parking ticket. So this means that in some areas we do not have options, and this is bad. As it is bad, the use of the digital socialization and the impact that it has on our lives, and the way it influences our choices, our health, and our politics. I deliberately didn't pick examples from politics. I don't even want to go there. The example that I picked is the link between the social media use and the increased rates of depression and anxiety in the adolescents, where emotional costs are rarely captured in the technical platforms data about engagement and the user growth. So again, this is just a part of, these are some examples, and moving on, it would be interesting, of course, to see why this has happened, why we do not see this. And again, this is also a question for you. I don't know if in the meantime you kind of brainstorm and had ideas about why this is happening. If you want to add your ideas in the chat. Otherwise, we can move on and again identify or consult the key points that I extracted. So yeah. One of the reasons that we are not seeing things is a lack of representation, as for example, the women's example, as marginalized groups that are often missing from the data collection. Another reason is the digital divide, so internet access. So we simply do not have the data of around 2.6 billion people, about third of the global population, which still lacks access to internet. So we don't see that people. We also have some issues with the public procurements that are favoring big corporation and consultancy firms. And in this way, governments outsource technology without building internal expertise. And there's an assessment did for this reason of the European Court of Auditors, but also decades of work of Mariana Mazzucato that you are kindly invited to check, and you also find a lot of these resources in the last slide. Another reason is the data gatekeeper. So big tech monopolizes essential data infrastructures and have a strong economical position and influence on the internal European markets. To be a little bit more concrete on this, the European Digital Market Act is tackling the non-competitive practices that big corporations are putting in practice. One of these could be like the default installations of the applications that you find already in the smartphones. So when you buy an Android phone, you already can find Google Email, Google Maps, Google Play, and so on and so forth. So with this Digital Market Act, the European Commission is trying to tackle this problem and so open up the stage to smaller players. But we still have a lot of technical lock-in and public agencies depending on proprietary technology, so limiting the choices that we have. Together with the hidden algorithms, so black boxes that prevent public scrutiny. So in other words, we do not know what are the criteria for which the information is pushed forward, and we cannot verify it. And of course, the lack of holistic and long-term views, like data collected, ignores systemic and long-term issues and privileges short-term solutions. All these, most of these topics are directly related to infrastructure. So in some countries, the public services communication rely on American providers up to 70%, up to 70%, exposing the countries to critical dependencies. You can check this beautiful article for more details on this. But the idea is that we cannot outsource this task to private foreign companies and expect to serve the citizens, as they are in their nature, they serve their stakeholders. So we need to build our own IT infrastructure and train professionals. And this means, in practical terms, what does it mean infrastructure? Like from the physical plants to server rooms to data centers, as long as well-qualified people in charge of running and maintaining these infrastructures, like system administrators, system integrators, cybersecurity professionals, cloud computing and data analysts, and machine learning developers. We need to create a condition for transparency, inclusion, innovation driven by public well-being and not by private profit. and we need more people onboarded in this. We already know that we set some targets again in Europe for closing the digital gap, which is not enough. So we still need people in this topic. Yeah, so Interfacer project was at the front line of this argument, proposing alternatively run digital infrastructure for FAB cities, regions, and nations, having as the first pilot the FAB City Hamburg node. The project ran for a short period of time, but benefited for the past experience of Dyn, and was able to lay the foundation of two important pillars. One is the definition of decentralized local nodes, basic and functional starting points like a website, an event management, a local maker's map, focused on facilitating the nodes onboarding processes. Another part was proposing a common technological stack, providing data exchange standards, principles and frameworks such as open no hardware for hardware design sharing, or the value flow vocabulary for coordinating the creation, the distribution, and the exchange of economic resources that ensured compatibility, coherence, and interoperability between nodes. Everything is open source and community-based and publicly available, ready for being adopted, studied, and tested and modified. And if you have ideas or proposals, they are more than welcomed, and you are more than welcome to check the repositories that were put together by all the partners of the project. In other words, this decentralized this activity wanted to make sure that the nodes are using the same language in order to be able to communicate among each other. This is in practice what it looks like. And moving forward to the second important pillar was an instance of a global value exchange system that is based on the interaction of three main items used to capture the entire product life cycle, like the design of digital content blueprint, like this design as digital content, like blueprints and recipes, services of a non-physical offering that provides a solution or meets a need, and products as the physical manifestation of an object. This was enabled by the W3C crypto wallet. Just a second. I'm missing some parts. Oops. Yes, that enabled it's a privacy by design passwordless login, and so an easy entry level for the users, ensuring that everything that happens in the platform is end-to-end encrypted and also cryptographically signed, and no personal data of the users is being recorded or saved on the server. The workflow that we put together encourages collaboration among members as contributors that can make suggestions, provide feedback, and contribute to the design code base or the documentation. Collaborations as people can include providers or partners by linking other projects, and also searching, that means starting from already existing components by using the engine meant to support the finding and the integrating of existing components, saving time and having a point of contact for the technical issues and the future collaboration, because it puts people in contact with the owners of these components. As an example of these interactions, we have the Touch Green stool product that has included the materials and the quantities, so the recycled screws, the wooden slots, and the screws. It has a design that is connected to the Git repository, and 4 hours assembly services, and an included product, meaning recycling plastic bars, which it's available online, and you can also check the link. Yes. So. Furthermore, I'm missing something here. Excuse me, just a second. Yeah, because it's important. The exchange between this between the relationship of these items can be considered as the cryptographic certificates, and so they open up the range of different possibilities, such as the digital product passport. That's information formatted and aligned with the European framework that asks for data carriers providing information about the product value, the product's value chain, enabling recycling, dismantling, and repairing practices, as it maps and publicly exposes the entire production life cycle. So it's a sort of a digital label. This also opened up the possibility for providing the skills of the collaborators, as their contributions and therefore their experience is being recorded as part of the different projects that they participate in. And so it can be extracted into a digital skills passport. Another module of the platform is a basic implementation of a recognition system that is based on participatory economic theories and activity indicators, where we implement enabled us to implement the basic flow for shared remuneration. And that's a very short overview of what happened during this project and the most important pillars. But in Interfacer, we concentrated on open source hardware, but the system can adopt and can include different workflows, and sectors, and also multiple integrations, like marketplaces or like feeding urban planning tools, as long as they are applying the same principles, and so as long as the principles remain aligned. Even so, the project does not cover all the topics that we mentioned in the first section, and it's only a possible start for the creation of a FabCity open source ecosystem. In order to have another perspective of this infrastructure discussion that we are having, I added here the tools that we put at the disposal of the teams that we are mentoring during Ledger, just as an example of entirely open source ecosystem for training. But hopefully that can inspire some of you and showcase some of the tools that can be adopted. But this is not one project or one foundation task. Also because in Dyn we are 15 people more or less, so it's quite a small organization, small and loud. But this is about building an alternative and decentralized system with strong appliance in the local communities and a powerful global connection. So the contributions need to happen on a multi-level scale. So I also try to put together some of the actions that can be addressed and put in practice, hopefully, at the global scale, at the local scale, and at the individual scale. So starting with the global, it would be good to advocate for global data and governance rooted in human rights, like promote global cooperation through data exchange and enforceable data protection standards like GDPR. We know that these practices work because, for example, in 2016, an automatic bank information exchange was enabled, and this brought to the offshore of tax evasion down to 3 points since the implementation. Mandate data interoperability and portability, encourage governments to adopt open source via inclusive procurement. Also, this is something that the public code is pushing as a direction in Europe. So it's an initiative that everybody can join and ask for public code, especially when it's made with public money, so with the money of the contributors, which is the pay taxers, which is us. Public IT infrastructure, shift funding to support robust digital commons, promote the use of open source software, open standards, and IE aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals. One initiative that is already handling this is Digital Public Good Alliance. It's a multi-holder initiative that is endorsed by the United Nations and facilitates the discovery, but also checks the software that they are publishing and the development of open source technologies in the hope and the support for the government and the institutions to adopt these technologies. Another very important thing is the holistic approach, holistic policy approach. So we integrate the digital policy with the climate, the social, and the economic goals, become climate neutral, promote resource efficiency, circular economy, and sustainable practices across various sectors, including energy, transport, and industry. This is all part of the European Green Deal, which is also the one that is working on the digital product passport that we touched upon earlier. And an initiative that is monitoring how we are going is the Circular Gap report, which is also in the resources of the presentation, in case you want to check how we are going. On a local level, I really feel and I really think that we really need physical spaces. So physical and accessible to everyone, bridging the service support and awareness, reparation, and experimentation of people. We can call them open IT hubs. We can call them Fab City nodes, hacker spaces. The point is that we need physical encounters in order to bridge these gaps and to evolve together. We also need to push more the public technological infrastructure, so migrate or build municipal open source platforms to reduce the reliance on big tech. and also require ethical technology and data transparency in the public sector contracts. Technical institutes should be a part of the local problem solving. They can be involved in hackathons, collaborations, internships. The idea is that I believe that it can be a win-win situation, both for the students that can participate, be motivated, and do hands-on experiments or even projects with the public administration. And on the other side, the public administration, maybe it can save some costs. Involving people into the policy making is also something that it's very important, in order also to have their support, but also help people to understand the context that they are living in. And Decidim is one of these platforms that is able for public consultancy practices and involving citizens in these decision-making processes. Community data stewardship, so build, co-manage technological commons for cities, open data portals, open source urban planning tools. I added our world in data.org, which is a global initiative, but it really gives an idea of how these open source portals could and should look like. And of course, address the data bias, enable internal collaboration among offices, stop working in silos. The Karlskoga, Sweden, snow cleaning practices, after revealing sexist and being addressed, brought to public spending reduction. This comes also from the Invisible Woman book. And it is mainly a problem with giving priority to where to clean the snow. If it's it first was based on the streets, in order to clean the streets for the cars, and at some point they discovered that women that were mostly using the pathwalks for taking children to school, for groceries and some other activities that they were doing, they were having all sorts of incidents because of the pathwalks not being cleaned. So they switched the priority. They first cleaned the pathwalks and then the streets, and they reduced the number of incidents, and therefore they reduced the spending of the public administration. As individuals, we can consider adopting the open source software and open source hardware tools. Again, those are some examples that I know. There are a lot of them. The idea is to be a little bit more open to these tools. Also, be aware that they are not as polished as the big tech tools, and so I just added a couple of alternatives to the most known and used tools that we are using. Like the Google, the privacy preserving mobile ecosystem, Thunderbird for emails, Signal for private chats, and also for the ones that are more nerdy, you can start gathering open source environmental data with the Smart Citizen Kit. Another thing is supporting this supporting these tools, but also this open culture. The repositories are all accessible, so you can report bugs. You can also ask for features, and of course, you can support for the tools that you are using, and the communities that stay behind that tools. Participate in collective actions, so join campaigns, keep an eye on the makers around you, participate in repairing events. In other words, get out of the house and be aware of the local context that you are living in. Be better with the digital literacy, be aware of the digital data, where your data is, who has access to your data, and also where you take your information from. And yeah, so that's more or less it. Everything that I was able to put together, and to truly see the world and change it, we must question the data lens we are looking through. So we must define new metrics grounded in care, equity, and ecological awareness, and in doing so, building digital landscapes that illuminate rather than obscure. And so this is how we can create pockets of light, which is an expression that I stealed from Electra Kalumpi, that she used during these sessions, in the Roundtable series. So a previous session of this Roundtable series, and I loved it. So I invite you all to imagine how this hands-on, physical, open IT hubs, FabCity nodes could look like. And I thank you for the participation and for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Micha. It was very
Intense.
interesting. Yes, it was very intense. Absolutely. Also because some of these topics, from my personal point of view, are challenging to understand, but I think I know you did a great job, so thank you very much. I would like to leave these remaining minutes to the audience if they have some questions. I think this is the best moment. You can either take the word if you feel like, or write a question in the chat. But in the meantime, that we are waiting for some questions, I would also like to ask you one.
Yes, please.
And I was thinking, in your personal, from your personal point of view and your personal experience, how can global organizations ensure that the metrics they adopt are inclusive and aligned with ethical principles?
What happened? Can you see the screen black?
Yeah, it's all black
Okay.
now.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to go back to this, and actually it went from the start.
No problem.
Yeah, so this is more or less what, in my opinion, should be done. So start with first of all, understanding the context that they are operating in, and understanding what is already there. This is very important. And this is the first step in like, if you think globally and you are aligned with everything that it's happening, and so with the working groups that are taking holistic approaches, and then you go to the local and see what you have. Putting all these two things together can also show you where you are lacking or what you are not seeing, so you can address the issues properly. Open data is just the way you can ensure that this can be realized, and also you can ensure that the others can see what you are doing, and by seeing what you are doing, this means that they can provide feedback, they can correct you, they can contribute. But also moving forward with this, so leaving it to the community as a common good. Not sure I replied to your question.
I mean, it was a very difficult question, but yes, thank you, Micha. I see there are also some questions from the chat. So we have one from Leopold, actually two, which are what is the further roadmap of Interfacer, the city open source, and the DPP? And
Digital product passport.
the second question is what are the next big steps in infrastructure?
Let's start with the first one because what is the future roadmap of the interfacer and the FAB city and the digital product passport. So I think that, as I was saying, we need to identify more professionals. Like we really need more system administrators and hands-on experts on these topics. On one hand, so if you know somebody that's interested in the topic and want to continue this vision, please let me know. The other one is that in order for us to move forward, we need to have a clearer idea about the definition of these nodes put in practice, so how they can work. But for us to do this, we need to identify at least 3 nodes, because otherwise, if Dyn is keeping everything and it's supporting everything, it's not decentralized, it's centralized. So we are looking for identifying the characteristic of these nodes, persons that can work, so professionals that can work on these nodes and put them in practice and see how they really can exchange data among themselves. I don't know, I hope that I replied. If I don't, please tell me. Leopold, I think. Otherwise, I will move on to the next question. Did you present Dyn view or a shared vision of the FAB city network? Did you the Dyn's view? I'm not sure. What do you mean? It's Dyn's view that it's aligned. It was a little bit trying to put a light on the problem, put a light on what is happening, and then give some alternatives. And actually, Dyn is pushing this forward and is highlighting the lack of infrastructure and the need for digital awareness since again ages, if not decades. So I can say that it's a Dyn vision more than FAB city. What is the next big step in infrastructure? In my opinion, what I would like to see is hands-on, get real with the physical spaces where again you can bridge support, because a lot of people have no clue about this. So we need more education, we need more awareness, and we also need to bridge the gaps, the population. So we have the older people that have no clue, we have the younger people that are 100% of online, and they kind of lost the contact in a lot of cases with the manuality and with what does it mean to have a physical connection and to work together in the same room and to exchange information. So for me, the next step is hands-on, both for recovering and building infrastructure and for training people, and on a general, more high level, to raise awareness and take care of also of the citizens. Where can we find a list of 64 FAB cities networks and their contact details? That's a question more for Francesco, I think.
Yeah, I Yeah, I already put the link in the chat, and but I'm also saying everybody, if there is any information that needs to be uploaded, please email the network pub.city.
Leopold says city operating system, but I'm not sure if it's a comment or a question. And
I think it's the comment before because I said city OS incorrectly.
okay. Relocate actions. Could you explain more about the reparations, replications in awareness, replication in replication, awareness, reparation, and experimentation. So what I'm seeing is again physical places where people can let me be as futuristic as possible, not hopeful and optimistic. I can go with my smartphone and try to understand, like I have a physical office or place and I can go with the smartphone and ask why it is not working, if I can repair it, if why how should I recycle it, what can I do with an old phone or with an old computer. And also the same place maybe can organize workshops to talk about what digital trace is, or repairing shops where people can gather and can try to repair their broken items. So a point of support. This is more or less what I'm seeing, I think that it could be helpful and maybe manageable. But please tell me if I replied, if you still have doubts. um is there any information that needs to be updated on the pin? Oh, that's another thing that I don't. Okay. Placed within. Okay, that's a topic with about the regions. I don't think there are questions about the infrastructure, or at least I'm not seeing them.
Yeah, I
Because
think
that's the conversation between you guys and Leopold with the regions and the link for the regions, right? In the chat. I just want to to make sure that I understood
yeah,
correctly.
I think
Okay.
I think here we are tackling the topic not in the correct place. So please, Leopold, write to network fab.city. We are not the right people to ask these questions to. I would also, in the meantime, I would also like to remember the audience that we are going to have uh, a next roundtable in June, the 18th of June, with Abono Kilometer Zero. This is is based in Barcelona, that takes care of waste management. But I remember everybody, please to use these last minutes to ask Michaela any other questions or any other doubts about her presentation. As we stated in the beginning of the call, we have registered the call and we are going to put it in our YouTube channel in a week, more or less. Exactly. I think that there are no more questions, not that I see, at least in the chat. I don't know, Mija, if you want to if you have anything else to add. But
No, I think that this is a quite important, and complex, very complex and hidden somehow topic. And I know that it's not very intuitive at the first glance. I really try to make it as human as possible. But yes, we need to push and to push more efforts on this topic, including raising awareness, including trying to understand better what these infrastructures are about. Also because they are the base of everything. So unless we don't understand them better, it won't be possible to change the lens. So it really won't be possible to change the lens that we are looking we want to change. So and an alternative system is in my opinion not waiting for the big companies and the big players to change things, as they will tend to move on as and preserve the status quo, but start in parallel building nodes or building smaller system that can talk to each other, and so we can test. So we do not have a lot of solution in this moment, but it is important to tackle it. It is important to be aware of the topic and to stay close to the people that are trying to modify and to work for an alternative system. That's the main message I think that I wanted to put on the table today.
thank you very much, Mija, once again. And thank you everybody for being with us today. See you in the next roundtable, the 18th of June.
Thank you, everybody, and thanks Fab City for organizing this.